First story. I called my mill on my man-child fiancé. My fiancé M22 was injured over a month ago and had surgery to correct things literally 2 days after the accident. I 21F have been by his side the entire time. I have more or less become his caregiver. In the last month, I have taken over the role of keeping our house together. I cook all the meals. I take care of the pets. I stay up all night to tend to his endless needs. I take him to the bathroom. I have been working remotely. I haven't left the house for more than an hour since the accident, aside from taking him to and from appointments. I am not saying this to complain. I am grateful that my life allows me to support him the way I have. My problem is his attitude. He was given very strong painkillers for the first 2 weeks after surgery. He had to extend his time on them and recently stopped taking them in the last week. When he was taking them, he thanked me, told me how much he loved me, and apologized at every step, though he didn't need to. Without the medications, he doesn't seem to see that I am helping him. Every dish I bring him is the wrong one. He will yell for me, and when I come, he will tell me to F off. If he's in pain, he expects me to fix it. I am exhausted. I can't do anything right, and it is wearing on me. I haven't slept in weeks. I haven't seen a friend or family member in way too long. I can't even be on the phone for more than 10 minutes without it being an issue. After days of what turned into verbal abuse, I called my mill. I told her everything as soon as I saw he was asleep. I cried for about 15 minutes. I felt terrible unloading on her like that, but I had so much built-up frustration, I just couldn't stop. She was very supportive on the phone, let me know I wasn't wrong to feel like that, and let me cry. After hearing everything, she was furious and ended our call to talk to her son. She tore him a new RC hole. I heard him trying to defend himself through the door, but it was mostly just stammering. She flew up yesterday and put me up in a nice hotel. I haven't heard much from my fiancé since I left, but as I was leaving, he was yelling at me for calling his mom. He said he didn't want to marry someone who couldn't be there for him in sickness. I told him I loved him, and I was sorry. I am just so tired. He didn't care and just told me to go, and his mom could do a better job for him than I ever could. So now I'm in my way too nice hotel room, feeling like a major op. I need to know if I am wrong here at it. He began weaning off 2 weeks ago and became fully dependent on over-the-counter medication this week. He did not stop taking them cold turkey. His doctors were heavily involved too, due to previous drug abuse. Edit 2. Next day. Mill is taking him back to their hometown once they can get flights together. I'll stay in this hotel until then. Fiancé doesn't want to talk yet, and TBH, I don't blame him. He knows what's coming, and that I am pissed. I'll go visit him in a week, so I have until then to decide how I want to move forward. My mother called last night about a venue she found in my hometown, and I told her what's going on. She doesn't want to spend a bunch of money on a pending divorce, so we are stepping back from planning. Not much more to add. I'm excited to see my pets and be able to sleep in my own bed. I'm going to try to make my sister fly to my state so I can have some company. That's pretty much it. I'm in serious awe about how I let my life get like this, but oh well. Today will be better. Relevant comments. Is it withdrawal? He behaves like this frequently when in pain, just never to this degree. I can promise you that he had been weaned off and would tell me if that's what he was feeling. I have seen him go through much worse withdrawals when we first met, and this isn't that. He is lashing out on me in pain, which I get. I was the only person around. He has a history of drug abuse. I took administration of the pills very seriously. Due to his history, we worked very closely with his psychiatric team and the orthopedics to make his healing period as easy as possible. I should have put that in the post, but he did not stop the cold turkey. Is this abnormal behavior? He has what some would call a short fuse, especially with me. His making hurtful remarks to me or just blatantly putting me down is not necessarily uncommon and is something we are working on. Prior to this, he would apologize and make it up to me. Now, even when I'm in tears, he will just keep laying on insults. OP has thoughts later that day. Being away and able to process the last month of my life has been eye-opening. I couldn't imagine trying to care for a child under conditions like that. I couldn't imagine how frustrated I would be. His injury is in his arm. He can walk. He can use his left dominant hand. I understand that he is in pain, and it's awful, but I have had a friend with much worse injuries. Help us move. I'm thinking about returning my ring. OP is voted entitledpeople. Update in comments, same post. March 13th, 2023, 8 days later. I've returned. My last night in the hotel, I called my parents to make a plan. and it didn't go well. I'm home with my fiancé again. He won't talk to me except to bark orders at me. I'm hoping I can move out within a month or two. Surgery and recovery are expensive, and we have been living on my income for some time, and I'm pretty broke. But I'm keeping my head up, and I'm confident I can get myself out. Why didn't he go with his mom? I know she pushed for him to go home, but he is a very stubborn boy. Thank you. I will be okay. Update. 17 days from OG post. Updates on AITAH seem like a process, so I'll just post here. I went home 2 days after posting. Things were sad. My mom had cleaned, but the energy in the house was a bummer. The first thing he said to me when I got back was, "I'm glad you're back. Can you make me a snack?" There was no apology, no accountability, just a task. He only talked to me when he needed something. His attitude was worsening. My mill took the rest of his prescribed opiates, so I knew he wasn't using them. The weekend following the mill debacle, my wonderful fiancé told me he had friends coming to stay for the weekend. 2-hour heads up. Didn't ask. I sighed and made up the guest room. His friend and girlfriend came to stay. During the stay, my fiancé bought me flowers, got out of bed daily, took me out, and let me call my parents unsupervised. The day they left, he was back to bed with a SHTTY attitude. I wish I could say I am in my own apartment with my pets and a bottle of rosé that's just for me. Or with my girlfriends that I haven't seen in months. Unfortunately, I'm writing this on the couch while I listen to the music that is his endless demands. However, I do have a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm scared to leave him in person, but he's leaving the country for a month in April. My sister lives abroad, and I'm working on getting to her during that month. It's a process, especially with pets. I look forward to getting there. My mother hasn't spoken to me since I told her I was returning the ring because that's not what we do. We clean our messes. But I have my father's unwavering support. I'll miss my mill, but I deserve that kindness and understanding from my partner, not his mother. I have stopped forcing myself to find the joy in his presence, and it's helping to fuel my drive to get out of here. I may update again when I get to my sister, but don't be surprised if I do my best to put this chapter behind me. Thanks for the kind words. I hope you all get the love and hugs you need. Update in a comment on my OG Boru post. Why isn't he with his mom? Mill was planning on taking him. He refused. Things got very bad since I posted this. I'm currently in my childhood room at my father's decently hungover, and I am officially a single lady. OP then added a few new comments to her latest post in regards to questions about calling her parents unsupervised. I called my sister once when I was scared of him a while back. She called the police. He liked to be in the room when I was talking to family following that incident, so I didn't say anything dramatic. I should have seen how bad it was. Typing that out just feels gross. More about what happened. I don't want to get too into it, but we had a bad night. It ended with me locked on the balcony. I still have some bruising. I was able to call my father on my watch, and we made a plan to get me home the next morning. Are you and your pet safe? Yep. I'm with my dad now. They are. They aren't in my arms yet, but I should get them back in the next week. Update. 5 weeks from OG post, 3 from last. It's been some time, and I finally feel comfortable enough with my situation to update y'all. My pets and I are safely with my father. We've been here a couple weeks, and things are going well. I'm working remotely, but also searching for a new position closer to my hometown, so I can still have a social life. My animals are adapting to life without their dad, and I'm doing my best to join them. My ex and I were high school sweethearts. I have been through most major life events with him. There is only a small fraction of my life as an adult that I have been through without him. Leaving was really hard. I am still second-guessing myself. But I realized recently that by not enabling his SHTTY behavior, I really am helping him. He went on his planned trip, and I took that opportunity to get everything I needed from our shared home and made arrangements going forward for my lease. He took his trip as an opportunity to reflect on his behavior within our relationship, specifically the last year. He is pretty disappointed in himself. It seems that the company he was on vacation with helped to hold a pretty clear mirror to his face, and he was really unhappy with what he saw. I feel bad. He's really having a hard time with this self-awareness. But I do really appreciate the accountability that has been accompanied. I'd like to add that I don't hold any resentment towards him. I am hurt and disappointed in the way he felt he could treat me, but I don't hate him. I was sad to hear how upset he was with himself, though a little relieved I wasn't being painted as the crazy ex I was sure he would paint me as. Since getting home, He has started therapy and is looking for a new sponsor. We talk about once a week so he can see his pets. I also do not mind the positive updates. When we talk, it's respectful. There is still a lot of love, but I've set boundaries that keep him from hounding me about our relationship. I have also started a new therapy. This is my first serious breakup, and the aftershock is real. It's hard to lose your best friend, future husband, and father of your fur babies in one go. I am confident, however, that this is essential to both of our growth. I'm happy that we can have a respectful, albeit small, relationship. Who knows what the future holds? But for now, I'm doing my best to be content with this new independence and grateful my life can go through roadblocks, and I can get through easily, thanks to my amazing support system. I still haven't spoken with my mother. That will be much later, and I will be requiring a serious apology. I love my mom, but I'm not going to stand for her demanding I make really unhealthy choices to appease her, and so she doesn't have to be embarrassed by my broken home. I mean, come on, man, I'm 21. My broken little tyke's home, let's be real. I am young, smart, and pretty, and I have a really good, kind life in my future. Thank you for helping me not settle for comfortable. I hope I never have to update again, and I hope you are all having a really good Friday. Relevant comment. It's good that his behavior is improving, but don't rejoin the relationship. Absolutely. I'm pleased to see progress. Period. I have no intentions of rejoining that relationship. I am just really happy that he is also getting a new start that is positive, and I am proud of him for taking it seriously and getting the help he needs. I was fully expecting self-destruction while blaming me, and instead he's owning up to his mistakes and trying to do better for himself. Update 3. 2 weeks from last post, almost 2 months from OG post. I left out of my last post my final interaction with my ex. It didn't seem too important at the time, but we had a final hookup the last time I saw him. I am now pregnant. This was my biggest fear, while with him having a child and being solely responsible for them. I am now in that exact position. I told my ex a couple days after I found out. I assured him that this changes nothing about our relationship, but as he is the father, he has the right to be involved in the conversation. He declared he is moving to my hometown, and he will be the best goddamn father you've ever seen. I have my doubts. I am full of anxiety. I've barely learned how to treat myself correctly. I want my kid to be so beyond loved. I want my child to have everything in the world and more. I don't know how to do that on my own. I am encouraged to see my ex making big boy steps to be a part of our kid's life. But I'm also cautious. He's doing all this to get back in my good graces. I can't be a mom to my ex and my future child. I can't fall back into the same dynamic that made me leave. I am doing what I can to stay strong and hold my ground. But then he sends flowers, or a massage certificate, or a bump box. Every gift, every check-in text, and every mention of our baby gets me closer to going back to him. I don't really know why I'm posting this. I guess it's cathartic to get this all down and out in my own words. It's hard to write your own narrative in your words in a small gossipy hometown. It's hard to be pregnant and single. But the hardest thing is telling your father that you're expecting, no matter how old you are. I know we will be okay. I am already trying everything in my power to be a good mom. I am trying to be respectful to everyone I can regarding this situation. But damn, it's tough. Anyway, that's my ramble. I doubt anyone reads these anymore, lol. But I'm glad I said it. Relevant comment. Are you sure you want to be tied to him for the rest of your life? Because that's what this baby will do. No, I am not. I'm not too sure about much right now. I do know that I already love this baby more than I can say. I know that he loves our baby already too, and that's all I really care about. His mom is good at reining him in, and I have to believe that things are going to be okay. Slight update. 1 month from previous update, almost 3 from OG. My mom and I have always had a rocky relationship. I went to live with my dad as soon as I could decide and kept my contact minimal. After high school, I moved away for college and for a good job with my ex. My mom followed me to my new city, and we tried to rebuild our relationship. Unfortunately, I got scared of the choices I made when I was with her, so I went back to low contact, and she moved back to my hometown. Unfortunately, recently my life turned upside down. Long story short, my boyfriend and I broke up. I moved home with my dad and got a new, better job. Then I found out I was pregnant. My dad has a full house, and I made the decision to move to my mother's guest house for my pregnancy, so I can save more money for BB and move out once they are around 2 months old. The timeline works for my finances, and I figured, since I'm just on her property, not her main house, It might be easy to keep a low profile. How naive. After work daily, she comes over to check on me. She hasn't failed to offer me an alcoholic beverage. Not once since I moved in. She chain smokes right outside my bedroom daily, and she stays late. I know it's her home. I know that she's very kind to have me here, but I'm growing as a person right now. I am preparing myself for motherhood. Single motherhood. I work long, demanding hours. I am stressed and isolated. I would love a effing drink. But I'm pregnant. I can't drink. The time I brought it up, I was screamed at, and she asked me to leave in the morning. It was really upsetting and stressful. I feel like she comes here to bait me into picking a fight, so she can pull every power play to make me feel small. So anyway, Mom, I love you. But, man, I am trying to give our entire family a healthy new friend. I am trying to establish myself as an adult in the town that I was born in. I am trying to do better for myself and my baby. Please respect that for me. Please respect that enough for your grandchild. I love you. Please try to love me. Final update. 7 months from OG post. 4 months from last. Hey Reddit. It's been a while. My life has flipped me in every direction. But I am finally in a place where I am happy and confident enough in my situation and decisions to loop my internet friends in. I started a new job several months ago. It was up my alley and amazing pay. I was living with my mother in order to save up during my pregnancy. But once I started my job, I immediately moved out. Besides the pay and the career boost, I have found very meaningful relationships within the company. I met a group of coworkers on my first day that I was immediately attracted to. They are adventurous and kind, outgoing people. I started building my relationships with them, and eventually they became some of the closest people to me. They have been supportive of all my struggles from this year, and I would not have been able to get through my miscarriage without all the love they had to give me. I miscarried in my second trimester. It was hell. I have never been more upset with my body. I felt I had failed my child. There was nothing I could do to take that pain away. It still breaks my heart on a daily basis, but I have been getting through it and getting a little stronger every day. My ex lost his mind when he found out. He said I took his family from him and he would never forgive me. He threatened to sue for emotional distress I had caused him. It was unbelievable. The month after my miscarriage, I started seeing one of my new work friends. He's a bit older than me and is everything I have ever wanted. He is quite literally the opposite of my ex. He cooks and cleans. He makes me feel beautiful and smart, and all the things my ex would say I wasn't. I have found a new version of myself this year. I have made good friends who support me every day. I have found things I love to do and have been able to restart hobbies I gave up in favor of my ex. I found a person who makes me want to do better every day. I know this is long, so I'll wrap it up. I have never been happier in my life. I know it's dumb to say, but I genuinely thank Reddit for this. It was hard to read some comments, but it gave me the strength and understanding I needed to stop settling for someone who didn't care about me. I truly hope this is the last time any of you will see a post from me. Thank you all. Zoe. Update. Life feels really good these days. Reddit. We meet again. I seem to wander here when I don't have anyone to talk to about what's going on in my life. I have been hit with a slurry of responses each time, some positive, some calling me an idiot, some telling me how lucky I am that my baby died. Regardless of the context of my posts, I have never gotten a response here that I also would have gotten from someone in my life who actually knows me. I guess that's why I keep coming back. Well, here I am, and life is looking good. If you have read my post history, 2023 was a doozy for me. I ended my engagement. I moved back to my hometown. I found out I was expecting and prepared myself for motherhood. I found out my baby no longer had a heartbeat and prepared myself to deliver a child I would never get to know. I was let down by my family. Most importantly, I fell in love. I met my ex-fiancé in high school. We grew up together in many ways. The darkest times in my life, he was there, happier moments too. I never felt complete with him. I was always looking for more stimulation. I wanted more. I always thought it was because we had different love languages and attachment styles, but I learned later that we were simply incompatible people. My ex was always miserable, and you know what they say about misery. I left that relationship with nothing but fear. He fought me tooth and nail for all of our joint assets. We are young, but he came from money, and I worked my arse off to buy us a little town home in our old city. He now has sole ownership. I was pregnant and living on my mother's property. And when my lawyer told me how cutthroat through were playing, I resigned. He could have anything he wanted. I just wanted peace. He tried to get my car too, but I had enough in my corner to prove that it was mine and only mine. I also realized that I had given him everything I was too. I had not been honest about who I was or what I wanted since high school. And who the F knows who they are and what they want at 15? Certainly not me. I found myself back at square one. I was home, watched over by my parents and siblings. I was learning who I was again, but this time I only had to think for myself. I felt like I just restarted life. I got a job in my field, and I set out to take life by the horns and create a new reality for me and my baby. When I started my job, I knew on the first day that I would be friends with my coworkers. There was a group of them that were just so attractive to me. They were everything I wanted to be. Beautiful, bubbly, charming, adventure-seeking. I could go on. I remember feeling super intimidated that first time I interacted with them. We worked different departments, so there wasn't a ton of overlap. But every time I talked to one of them, I felt like I was in middle school again, and a popular girl had just complimented my top. A month or two after I started my job, I got a wave of courage and invited them out with me that weekend. Obviously pregnant and starting to show, I offered to drive as well. They were in. We hung out that weekend, and from then on I was just one of them. They became some of the closest people to me. I actually showed one of them this account. The group consisted of 6 people. They all meant the world to me, but one of them really stuck out to me. He was also a director of his department of our friends. We were the only 2 directors, so we sat in on several meetings together. He stuck out to me from his radiating smile and never-ending brilliance. He put out many fires in my department, which was like asking a librarian to perform surgery. Our responsibilities have absolutely no overlap. He was driven and kind and almost 10 years older than me. I had hearts in my eyes. We started seeing each other pretty quick, and he was my strength when I lost my baby. I spent every day with him. I would have to remind myself to go home, or I would just stay with him. But he couldn't do anything serious, and almost as soon as he became the best part of life, he started climbing the ropes to the hardest part of life. He drew me in, cooked for me, held me while my world shattered, wrote to me, sang for me, then took it all away. For a while, I thought if I did things right, he would come back. We never stopped seeing each other, but lines were now blurry, and he had no trouble bringing home a different girl when he would come out with me. I fell into a deep rut and realized the only way to get out would be to sever things with him. He took it well and promised to remain friends. He transferred branches a week later. Once he was gone, and I fell out of his orbit, I had a good look at myself. I realized how I have loved every ounce of me since I was small and never asked for it back. I realized I started to grow a human inside of me, one I never got to properly grieve. I realized that I had only ever worked and loved. I never just took time to be me. I have taken back my health. I used to be very conscious about what I consumed, but then I got pregnant and never got back on track. I ended up gaining 53 pounds through all of the events of 2023. I have now lost 48 of those pounds. I have always been a little underweight prior to last year, but now I just feel healthy. I found the most adorable home, my kitties, and I absolutely love it. We are right in town, and I have had the time of my life making it mine. I got promoted at work just after New Year's. This promotion comes with a lot of opportunity for travel, so I am preparing my lifestyle for those changes. But most importantly, I have learned to have fun or boredom or sadness or anything I need with just myself. I never thought I could do that. Last year took everything I ever knew and threw it out the window. I hope I never have lows that low again, but I am endlessly grateful because now I know how good those highs feel. I don't think I will be opening this account again. Thank you to all. Update. I am an orphan, and I've never been so alone. I have 3 siblings. 2 brothers who are older and a little sister. My oldest brother took his life when I was 9. My other brother is very successful. He has worked from the ground up. I am so happy for him and endlessly proud. His success has taken him all over the world, but it's never brought him home. My sister found her biological family last December. I am still waiting for her to call me back. I miss her dearly. I miss all of them. My mother is an alcoholic. She's very wealthy. She's beautiful, she's mean, and I have decided that in order to keep my life in a positive direction, I cannot be in her life, and she can have no access to mine. I said goodbye to her about a year ago. I miss her every day. I miss when she was silly, maternal, and empathetic. She's a shell of herself now. She can't look at herself because all she sees is my brother. I know that's why she treats us the way she does. We will never be him. Nonetheless, my mom, the woman who birthed 3 babies and adopted 1. The woman who would have taken a bullet to the head for any of her kids is gone. I've waited over a decade for her to be her again. But she isn't coming back, and I'm done waiting for her. She is gone. I accepted that last year. I've been grieving. I moved away this year as a chance to start fresh. I had moved home last year after I called off my engagement. I found a job that brought me to the beach. I have only ever lived in the Midwest. I packed up my life, hugged my dad goodbye, drove across country with my pets, and set up shop. I'm still getting my bearings here, and my new job is challenging. I have yet to make a friend here. Working remotely doesn't help. I have been maintaining my sanity with the help of my father. He could tell that I was drowning and flew to bring me a book I forgot, a month after I moved, and started coming monthly for a long weekend. I call him daily, mostly for chit-chat, but every Friday I call him while I nurse a bottle of wine, and he just listens as I ramble on about my extremely uneventful life. He has never wavered in his dedication to being my father, friend, and biggest supporter. 2 Mondays ago, I drove him to the airport. Like every end of his visits, I was a wreck. I asked him multiple times to stay a day longer. I hugged him twice as hard before he left. I watched him walk into the airport, and then he was gone. He was involved in a car crash while on the way to pick up my stepbrothers last Tuesday evening. He passed in the hospital very early Wednesday morning. I never properly said goodbye. I fled home at the time of the accident, but I didn't make it. He died surrounded by people who loved him, but I wasn't there. So here I am. I have no one to talk to. My brother and I have spoken a few times about logistics. He'll be home tomorrow, but it won't make me less lonely. He is a effing hard worker. He'll channel any kind of emotion he feels to his work. I am so happy he found success in that technique, but I know how much empathy he lacks as a result. My sister hasn't responded to one of the million messages I've sent or countless missed calls. I am alone. I'm not too sure why I came here. I think I was just looking for someone to talk to, or maybe writing it out makes it more understandable for myself. Whatever. I'm here. I'm alone now. No more parents. Just me. I will be okay. Second story. Entitled wife invited her ex to my birthday party, openly flirted with him, so I ashed out at her. Now she and my in-laws are blaming me for overreacting, accusing me of jealousy and ruining their daughters' lives, and threatening to ruin me. But I have a sister with a silver spine. I'm 29 and my wife is 30. We have been together for 5 years. We met each other during a seminar, and we clicked and started dating and eventually got married. My wife already told me that she was in a very serious relationship with her school friend. It was one of her female friend's brothers. They were planning to get married, but she feels out of love with him, and they broke up when he went for education and a job in a foreign country. She hasn't met him for the past 9 years. Enough backstory. 5 days ago, it was my birthday. We wanted to do something special, so we were planning for it for a month. We were on a tight budget as well, so we discussed who we were inviting. Basically, we agreed that both our families are invited, even extended, and some of our neighbors and our friends and colleagues are the only ones we know. On that day, I didn't know if my wife invited her ex as well, which was a shock to me when I saw him. I was really shocked. I called my wife to meet me upstairs. I asked her what he's doing here. She said he came with her sister. I said we would have a discussion later. On my party, I saw him hugging my wife, and he greeted and hugged me as well. We talked just as formality, and my wife was spending time with her friends, and he also joined, I guess because he's from the friend circle. Anyway, after the party, I confronted my wife and asked her what she was thinking. She asked me what. I asked her why her ex was here when I never met him before, and why did you not tell me? She said he came back for a few months on holidays, and her friend told her and urged my wife to invite him. I told my wife that she should have discussed it with me. It's my birthday party, and I should have the right to decide who joins and who doesn't. And it isn't some random guy. It's your ex. She said it wasn't that big of a deal. It was only for a few hours. She said she didn't tell me because I would object to it because Ash knows me, and she wanted all of her friends to be invited. I completely lost my SHT when she said that. I said, so you chose your friends over your own husband? I said in my anger, does she have any idea how it feels to see your partner's ex on your special day, especially when it's for the first time? Would you like it if I invited my ex to your birthday party without telling you, and my ex is hugging me and laughing with me? Would you be okay? It was supposed to be my special day, and you ruined it by inviting your ex. I was constantly thinking about how he did you for years, and God knows what he actually did to you. Would I be thrilled to see a man who F'd my own wife on my special day? It would be one thing if we were on friendly terms and knew each other. She started sobbing and said, I'm blowing it out of proportion. It's not that serious, and I'm hurting her with my words. We haven't talked to each other for the past couple of days. She told her parents and sister, and they said that I'm overreacting, and it's not a big deal. I simply told them that if I invite one of my ex-boyfriends to her birthday party without telling her, would she like it? They said that I would just be taking revenge. I said I wouldn't hurt her. But she should have thought multiple times and discussed with me, and just simply thought that it might hurt me. So am I the arsehole here? Update. First of all, I thank everyone for their advice. I tried my best to not overthink. But after reading the comments, I couldn't brush off the feeling that something is wrong. I tried so hard to deny, but I just couldn't. I went to my wife today and asked her to unlock her phone and give it to me. She asked me multiple questions, like, why do I want to check her phone? Or do I not trust her? Or did I go crazy because of my jealousy? And many more, but the more I think about it, the angrier I get. She, after pressuring her for a while, gave me her phone. I checked her texts and social media messages, but I couldn't find anything at all, so I went to her group text chat and found out that my wife and her ex met each other frequently ever since he came back. And he was also invited whenever she went out with her friends. But she never told me. I asked her what this is. She asked me what. I asked her, why did you meet him alone, and why did you never tell me about any of this? Why did you not tell me that you and your friends invited your ex, and you all hung out together? My wife said that it's not what I think it is. She said he's not just her ex, but a longtime friend. They've known each other for years even before she met me. And I'm just being jealous, controlling man. And there's nothing suspicious other than we just met and hung out. I said I love and trust you, but do not take me for a fool. There's no reason for you to be alone with your ex, and behind my back, especially. I don't even know who the F this guy is. Who the F is he even? And why is he talking to my wife behind my back? And why is my wife meeting him and my own wife defending her ex? I said I'm leaving, and we are getting divorced. My wife started crying and said that I don't trust her, and it's not what I think it is. I wanted to calm her down, but I just started walking to the door. My wife held me and got angry and said we can talk and fix the misunderstanding. But I said I am not ready to talk, and I am running out of patience. So please just leave me be. And if she wants to be with him, I wouldn't object. And I will pray for a happy life for you. I went to live with my sister. I told her everything that happened. I must have ranted for a long time. She just listened and said nothing. But in the end, she said that my wife is definitely hiding something, and my suspicion is correct. She hugged me and consoled me. I was drowning in my own thoughts, and my sister noticed it, I guess. My sister said that she can feel it that I want to cry. And if I want to, I can cry on her and vent to her instead of bottling it all up inside. And she herself started crying. TBH, I really do. But I am too proud to show the weaker side of me. And I have come here on the internet anonymously. I did so much for my wife. She always threw lavish parties. But when I wanted to do the same after years, she betrayed me in the worst way possible. There were 1,000 different ways to hurt me. But she chose the worst way to hurt me. So here I am drinking and thinking about what went wrong and where I was lacking. And living with my sister like a loser in his 30s. Update. I am sorry if it's too long. I'm just suffering and overthinking so much that I can't even think properly. But I tried my best to keep it as short as possible. On my birthday party, my wife decided to invite her ex to my birthday party, which I have been looking forward to, because I did celebrate in a very long time. I was very upset and confronted her. And she said there's nothing going on. And I was just being jealous. I later asked my wife for her phone. And in her friends group chat, I found out that ever since he was back, she has been meeting him alone. And whenever she went out with her friends, he was invited all the time, but not me. They didn't even tell me, so after this betrayal, I left my house and went to live with my sister. And she's taking care of me emotionally and physically. And I told her I'm divorcing her. Now yesterday my wife called me and asked me to meet. I said no and told her to say whatever she wants on the phone. She could not possibly have chosen a worse time to call me and piss me off. I was drunk and crying as hell, though I do not blame her because it was only 11 a.m. She started off with she's sorry and will do anything to win me back. And she swore she didn't talk to him only until he got back. And her friends introduced him to her again, which led to reminiscing. She proposed to me that we should get back and fix our marriage. And she promised me that she would never talk to him again. And we should move to a different state and live our lives and forget whatever happened. Now I really wanted to just forgive her and divorce her and didn't want to expose her. But this pissed me off so much. I started calling her so many names and crushing her like it's rainfall, and everything I held up inside me came out. I called her a lying, cheating, manipulative bee, even after all this I did for you to isolate me from my family and have me in your purse. I worked hard for you, sacrificed everything for you, and you are with your ex, effing him. Just because I loved you, you took advantage of me. I swear to God that even if I go broke and start begging on the streets, I will expose you and divorce you. If it were something else, I would have forgiven you in a heartbeat. But you are with your ex-fiancé while I'm working for you and giving you most of my money, which made you think I am a pushover. I hung up on her after ranting, and she was crying, but I'm dumb here and her bullshit. I immediately told everyone what's going on, which is much too embarrassing for her. I told them what I saw on text, and many of her family members, mostly cousins, called me and reassured me that they will help me. They said they were as shocked as I was when they saw him, and they could see it on my face. But they didn't say anything, but they will help me. Except her mom, she's even worse. She started saying in our family chat that I am lying and jealous and ruining her daughter's life, and many, many more. Her father called me and said he's sorry, and he knows that I'm not lying, and he's disappointed with how my mother-in-law and wife is acting. But he said that he has to take his family's side. But he will stay neutral and won't help me legally. I said I understand. My sister hugged me when I told her what I said. She hugged me for which I think is like 10 hours. She cried and said that she has failed as a sister. She should have ran background checks on her instead of trusting her, and kept kissing me. I said it's not her fault. She told me that next time she will find a very good woman for me. She will hook me up with one of her friends and women will be lining up for me for how good of a man I am. That even though I'm suffering so much, I still wanted to defend my wife, which is rare. I don't know if that's true, or she was just comforting me, but dating or getting remarried is the least of my concern. I'm just glad my sister is with me, helping me, otherwise I wouldn't be typing here. My sister said that she already had talked to a lawyer, a very good one, and she's her friend. But she didn't tell me because I was not in the right place. She told me that in our country, there's a mandatory 1-year cool-off period and mandatory counseling at least twice a month. And if I don't appear for counseling, the judge might think that I'm unreasonable. And since I have no proof of her affair, divorce might even take years or even a decade. And even if we prove her infidelity, she will still get alimony because cheating doesn't revoke her rights from alimony from her husband in our country, which pissed me off even more. But what I'm glad of is that my sister said that her friend has a loophole. She will charge us a very huge amount, and considering how many months or years we might fight in sessions, it will drain 90% of my money, and she will either give us back later or give us cash if we need it. I'm so glad that I have a sister who loves me so much and is so smart and surrounds herself with people like her. But the pain I am feeling is not going anywhere and going to stay in me for a long time. And the worst part of drinking is that even if you drink all day, you just keep overthinking unless you drink till you pass out. Edit. I thank you all for your help and time. I am so glad for your well wishes, and I also hope that none of you go through what I went through. And I wish you all good luck. I will start focusing on myself and go to sleep and stop drinking and thinking about my future. But as glad as I am from getting support from 100s strangers, it also makes me think that there are 100s of strangers willing to support me and help me. But the only woman I ever desires this from, and was my everything, and to spend my whole life with her, didn't support me and betrayed me. I will come back here to read the texts to find comfort every time I need some an update after my divorce, which might take years. And I read someone once said about emotional affair. Even if it's just emotional affair, I cannot tolerate it, and I have no way to prove or make sure of it. She is cheating on me because she was with him alone and or with her friends. But the way she and her friends hid it all, I can only assume she still loves her ex-fiancé, otherwise she wouldn't hide it from me, and nobody should tolerate emotional affair, and there's no justice whether it's a man or woman. I thought this all was just stereotype, but now I know my country is hated on for a reason. Good luck to everyone, and I truly, truly appreciate every one of you all. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.